Lord William Regal. I call him Steve Regal. What do you like to be called?
I don't care.
All right.
Steve's fine.
Bollocks?
Bollocks is good, yeah.
Hey, let's go back to the time when I met you at Center Stage TV. You just come in. I was like, man, William Regal or whatever they're calling you. You came in as William Regal?
No, I came in as Steve Regal.
Yeah. So that was the Lord thing when you got with Dundee.
That was later
right.
on, yes.
But I remember you came in. I can't remember who you was working with, and I watched you work. Like you were selling your ass, and I came up and I stuck my hand out. Hey, man, Steve Austin, man, nice to meet you. It was badass work. I just love the way you sold. And you had been working at that point probably 10 years?
Nearly 10 years, yeah.
So what got the bug up your ass? I mean, you're working your ass off in England. You come up the hard way, kind of learning the carnies, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then, incredible technician, and you said, hey, I'm picking up my bags. I'm going to the United States of America.
Well,
what spurred that decision?
It started off in England, and I didn't think I'd go any further. I was quite happy working on the fairground. Honestly, I thought, because I had
and it had been fun, but it had been tough.
It was, but I didn't feel tough at the time, because I was 16 playing at Being Wrestlers, living in Wonderland, and it was Wonderland to me. I was, like, biggest amusement park in Britain. I'm wrestling on it and just living in that scene when it was still alive,
Yeah.
So I went down a lot in the 90s and stuff, but in the 80s it was still buzzing. There's shows on everywhere, there's clubs. It was just a great place to be. And I had no athletic ability. I wanted desperately to be a wrestler, but I wasn't any good. I was lucky to get a break.
No, but hear that.
But I had no athletic ability. I was no good at it. Luckily, I got a break to get in it, and then like my view sort of changed. I was quite happy working there. Then I think, well, I'm slowly getting a bit better. Perhaps I can work on the bigger circuits in England, and I worked on that. And then when I got to about 18, I started looking. Probably about 18. I started seeing Dave Taylor and Tony Sinclair, and Pete Roberts was my big idol.
Right.
And they were never in England much. You'd see them occasionally on shows, and they always seemed to have a suntan, and they were always just coming back from somewhere sounding exotic to me. And they were like this small group of British heavyweight wrestlers that were world-renowned for being really technically sound, and they'd fly them in to make everybody look good and look like they could wrestle, and do these long, drawn-out wrestling matches that people can't do anymore, like between 8 or 15 5-minute round wrestling matches and put people in and out of things and all that. And so I thought, I'd like to be... That just sounded like the best job in the world, because they weren't stars anywhere. They were just... But they made a lot of money doing... A lot of money for England standards, and they were always away. And I thought, that's what I want to do now. So then I started learning that kind of stuff. And luckily for me, because I was tall, I started to get heavier, because it was always a bit of the heavyweights did that, and a lot of the other fellas didn't. Like the big stars in England were all smaller fellas, really.
Right.
It was the way it was. And so that was that. And so from 20, I got onto that kind of run from 20 to 24.